Hi guys, very good morning. I hope you all are doing really well. So guys, this is the interview question sets third party risk management part number 4. So without time wasting, let's start. So how will you categorize a vendor? This is the first questions. Generally, there are multiple factors or parameters through which we can categorize the vendors, but the most ideal categorization is the on the basis of critical. That means how critical the services is from the vendor side. For example, if any vendor is providing the payroll and taxes benefits and taxes records, that means organization is sharing our critical data, our confidential data of the employees or corporate employees to manage their salary, to manage their PF funds to the vendor. That means it keeps a huge confidential informations and we are sharing to the vendors. That means bank account number, IFSC code, bank branch, employees data, and corporate employees data, contact informations, and UN number means PF number are managed by the vendor. That means such details we are sharing to the vendors means the vendor is 100% critical, right? So we will put such vendors in a very high critical uh, zone and apart from this if we are providing only very normal data to the vendors, for example, employee name, their I mean their contact in informations, their address, right? So these are very normal data which doesn't contain any kind of confidential. These data are internal, right? So for this vendor, the criticality of the vendor is low or minor. So on the basis of criticality of services, we can manage the categorization of the vendors. Next question, what controls you cater for organization provided assets to vendor? That means uh, organization has hired the vendor and they are providing their own laptop for their functionality, right? So what controls you will manage? On the assets, all communication ports should be disabled so that vendor cannot tap like PAN card or uh, like uh, like uh, sorry, pen drive, etc. So so the external ports which are used for communication purposes should be disabled by the organization and a policy should be made. That means for any kind of exception should be there. After certain approvals, that ports should be enabled. Next is software or application installed as per company policy. So, as per the compliance regulatory, some application or softwares are mandatory that application or softwares should be installed. VPN should be enabled. That means the latest version and the most reputed VPN should be there. Task monitoring application. Task monitoring means there are n numbers of licensed softwares through which we can manage the activity ongoing. That means what are the tasks, what are the steps performing by the associates on the vendor assets, they can monitor it like whether associates is using the assets for their own use or not, like any kind of uh, any kind of like any kind of misuse happening in terms of assets or not. So the task monitoring application like we have CyberArk. So CyberArk can monitor each and every steps that what is the particular activity performing by the vendors on the assets. Next is application like DLP should be there to check the blockage of data. Here application like DLP. What is DLP? DLP is the data leakage prevention. That means the confidential data for what purpose the assets are given by the associates that asset should be used for that data only. Right. S- So the purpose of DLP installation for associates does not uh, leakage the data, like if they will like sending the data by email. So DLP will detect, and DLP will immediately take action and block the data. So this is the purpose of DLP, sorry. Next is data should be archived online after a certain retention of period as per the policy, right? So data retention would be there. For example, if there is no any kind of retention period we had set up, so the huge amount of data will be loaded on the uh, assets. So there is an n numbers of issues happening, like the particular slowness or etc. So a particular retention period would be there, and after a retention of a particular data, one candidate will verify that what are that data actually is, to examining and validate the data, right? Next question is, what is the contract age of vendor with organization? So guys, uh, every organization have their different policies. So the answer of this question actually varies from the organization policies point of view. Ideally, if the vendor is very good in market, like having the nice standard in the market, so the time of contract is for 2 years. But if vendor is an startup, so first organization will check the quality of the services. So in such cases, the the tenure of tie-up would be around 1 year or less than 1 year, and further extendable. So generally, organization keep first 6 months as an probation period for vendors to check the quality and reputation of the services, and then extended for 2 years, and so on. Last question: can organization terminate the vendors at any point of time? The ideal answer is no, but in certain scenarios, organization have authority to terminate the vendors, which earlier decided by both parties during the terms and conditions, like because before onboarding, both party one and party two management sits together and and signed a contract. So that particular contract document, each and everything is mentioned, that what will be the due, what is the period of time, what is the scope of services, what is the negotiation price, right? In what scenarios an organization can put the penalty, or vice versa, or in what scenarios organization have authority to terminate the vendors. So these all terms and conditions mentioned during the initial setup between party 1 and party 2. So ideally, organization cannot terminate the vendor, but in some scenarios, as I discussed earlier, there are certain scenarios in which organization have authority. Like if vendor is non-performing, after escalating multiple times, vendor is no coming with the bounce back. So in such worst scenarios, organization can terminate the vendors. So guys, these are the certain questions. From the next session, I will publish the information security basic terminologies videos. For example, what is antivirus, what is data leakage prevention, what is intrusion preventions, what is proxy, right? What is IDS, what is security operation center, what is ArcSight, what is called SIM, each and everything, a kind of basic security questions terminology. I am currently making the video which will be published very soon. So guys, thank you so much for your likes, comments and shares my videos. uh, if you have any kind of concerns or any help required during your interviews journey, kindly let me know via email. My email is mentioned in the about section of my channel. You can check and take my email ID for further communications. Thank you so much.